Okay, so we're now going to be looking at frequency tables where the things are grouped together. What I mean by these groupings are these things here, which I'll describe when we get to it. If you don't know how to do these questions where they're not grouped, you better make sure that you can, because you won't be able to understand what's going on here. So if the data is grouped already, we don't know the exact original data. This means we can only find an estimate for the mean, and I'll explain why it's an estimate in a second. We can't find the mode, but we can find the modal class interval or group. This is a class interval or a group. It can be interchanged, whichever those names that they decide to use. And the modal class is just saying it's the class interval that is the mode. And you can only find the class interval or the group which contains the median. You won't be able to, like in these previous ones, find an exact thing for the mean and the median. You'll actually just be able to find a group for that. So we're just going to go straight in with an example for this kind of thing. Now, I want to just describe what these class intervals are here. Actually, this says 20 to 30, the time to get to work in minutes. This means if you belong to one of these 12 people in this group, you take 20 minutes to get to work, between 20 and 30 minutes to get to work. You could take 20 minutes, but you're taking less than 30 minutes. If you took exactly 30 minutes, you would belong in this group because this inequality sign has the equal sign with it. So it wouldn't go in that group, 30 minutes would go in here. So that's what these different inequality signs mean. Now the modal group, that's just another way of just saying where is the mode. Remember, that is going to be the place, the group or the class interval with the highest frequency. So the one that's got the highest frequency from this list that we've got here is the 12. So that means we're going to write down that the modal group is the 20 to 30 group. And we just write that, literally just copy it out. That's 20 to 30. We say that out loud as the 20 to 30 group because it's got the highest frequency. Now we're going to try and find the median here. Now remember what we did in the previous video. We wanted to find out how many things there were, how many people were asked about how long it took them to get to work. So I'll add up these frequencies to see what they come to. So that's a 12, a 7, a 3, an 8, and a 10. So there's 40 here. So the group containing the median, well, the median position, I'm going to do the 40 plus 1, which is 41, and I will divide that by 2, so that is the 20.5th position. Now we'll find out where the 20.5th position is. There's 12 here and 7 here, so that means there are 19 here. So the 20, 21 and 22 position are all in this group, and that's where the 20.5th will be. So this group here is where the median will be. That's because there's 12, we add on another 7 to get 19. That has got the number 20, 21 and 22 inside this group, so the median is in there. So I'm just going to copy out the fact, I'm going to leave those there actually, that the median is in the group 40 to 50. Okay? Now we're going to try and work out what the mean is. Well, the estimate for the mean, the reason it is going to be an estimate is because we don't actually know anything about these 12 people. We know that they were in between 20 and 30 minutes to get to work, but we don't know if they were 21, 28, 25, 20 minutes, so we have to estimate this. Now the way that we estimate this is we think, okay, within this group, there's probably some people who are at the low end, some people who are at the top end, some people are in the middle. So the best thing to do is just to say, well, let's just use the middle of the group as a sensible estimate. So to find the middle of the group, you can either just spot what the middle is, which very clearly in this is 25 minutes, 35 minutes, 45 minutes, 65 minutes. Let's just quickly look at this last one though, because the middle is maybe a little bit harder to spot. If you want to find the middle of two numbers, you can add them together. So I can do 60 plus 90, which is 150, and then you can divide that by 2 and it will tell you what is in the middle. So the midpoint of that is 75. So these 10 people will pretend that they took 75 minutes, these 8 people took 65 minutes, etc. These are just the values we're going to use for a sensible estimate. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do, to find the mean, we're going to do the same thing that we did earlier on. We're going to do the midpoint. This thing here is the midpoint. We're going to do those numbers, we're going to multiply them all by the frequencies, and that will give us how many minutes have been travelled in total. So I'm going to very quickly work these out. I'll do my 25 times 12, which is 300. I'll do my 35 times 7, which is 245. This is my midpoint times by my frequency. I'm going to do my 45 times 3, just 135. I'm going to do my 65 times 8, which is 520. And on my 75 times 10 is 750. Now what we did before, we'll add up all of those numbers together. So that's a 300, a 245, 135, 520, and 750. That's 1,950. We'll add up all the frequencies. So there's a 12, a 7, a 3, an 8, and a 10. We actually did that on the previous page, which is 40. So the estimate for the mean, you do this number divided by this. This was the total minutes travelled to work by everyone, and we divide it by the 40 people that would have been in that list. So I'll do 1,950. I'll divide it by 40 to get an estimate for the mean, and we get 48.75. 48.75 minutes. Now, interestingly, the mean is 48.75 and the median are kind of similar, right? So we've kind of got them in the same kind of group, 48.75, 40 to 50. But the modal group is different. This one seemed to be the most common. So I am going to ask for you to have a go at this one here. So there's a your turn question, and then at the very end of this there is also an exam question that's taken from a past paper that you can have a go at, which I'm going to go through as well. Okay, so your turn that we've got here. First of all, the modal group is the one with the highest frequency, which is obviously this top group that we've got here. So the modal group, or the modal class interval, is 200 to 400 grams for the weight of a newborn puppy. The group containing the median, well, let's just quickly add up these frequencies to find out what it comes to. That's 35 plus the 7 and the 3, that means that there's 45 here. So the median position, I'll do 45 plus 1, which is 46. I'll half that, which is 23. So I'm looking for the 23rd position. Well, the first 20 are in there, so the 23rd is definitely going to be in this next group, which is 400 to 600. So the median will definitely be in this second group here. Okay, now we're going to do for an estimate of the mean. So we're going to do some midpoints. You can either put them in a separate column, but I usually like just putting them right next to it. So that's going to be a 300, a 500, a 700. This one I'm just going to double check. I'm going to do the 800 plus the 1,100. Make sure you press equals and then divide by 2. So the midpoint of that group is 950. Okay, I'm going to multiply these together, see what I get. So this is my midpoint times by my frequency. 300 times 20, that's going to be 6,000. 500 times by 15 is 7,500. 700 times 7, 4,900. And then 950 times by 3 is 2,850. So we'll add these all up. We will get 6,000, 7,500, 4,900, and 2,850. That's 21,250. So the mean is 21,250 divided by 45, because that's how many things we're being asked. Divide that by 45 and we get that the mean is 472.2 recurring. I'll just do it to one decimal place, 472.2 grams. Seems like a reasonable amount for the puppy because we've got this modal group, this median group. Yeah, 472.2, it's not like a crazy number. It looks like it would be contained in that table. Okay, so this one's an exam question from a past paper. It says Fran asks each of 40 students how many books they bought last year. The chart below shows information about the number of books they bought by each of the 40 students. Show that an estimate for the mean number of books bought is 9.5. You must show all your working. So I actually think we need to draw a table for this. I think we're going to say the number of books, and then we're going to do the frequency, and then we'll do some calculating. So the first group is 0 to 4, because at the moment it's a bar chart. We need to take it away from a bar chart and make it look like a table. We're then going to do the 5 to 9 group, the 10 to 14, the 15 to 19, and the 20 to 24. So let's actually just do the midpoints as well. I'll do the midpoints in like a, actually I can just put this all across. Let's just take a little bit more space. I'll leave it there. So I'm going to do the midpoints. Between 0 and 4 is 2. Between 5 and 7 is going to be, 5 and 9 is 7. 10 and 14, the midpoint is 12. We have 17 and we have 22. So these ones here are my midpoints. Now I'll do the frequencies from the bars. You can see this first one here is 11, 8, 13, 6, and 2. So for my last column, I'm going to do the midpoints times by the frequency. So I'm just going to be, I won't need these ones anymore. 2 times 11 is 22, 56, 12 times 13, yep, it's been a long day. 12 times 13 is 156. 17 times 6, 102. And 22 times 2 is 44. So I'll add up all of these numbers that we've got. That's going to be my 22, 56, 156, 102, and 44. They add up to 380. And I know what these already add to because they told me in the question that there were 40 students. So the estimate for the mean is going to be 380 divided by 40, which I know what it's going to be already because they've told us, which is 9.5 books. Okay, so that's everything pretty much on averages from a table and averages from a bar chart and stuff like that. Just make sure when you're doing these questions that you are remembering these tables are representations of raw data. You're not being asked to find the averages in this table. You're saying, for the numbers that have gone into this table, what were all of these averages? Found this video helpful? Then why not drop it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. This is the end of the playlist, but head to my channel's homepage to see what else I might be able to help you with. And as always, wishing you the very best for all your studies.